place. Hold on, there's a few more things I want to wrap up with here.
Sure.
So aside from the core count and clock speed rumors, Zen 3 is also expected to feature significant IPC improvements. So that's performance per clock. And we're thinking about 15% compared to Zen 2. So theoretically, with both a clock speed and IPC improvement, Ryzen 5000 series could be well ahead of Comet Lake. AMD previously stated they'll be using an evolution of TSMC's 7nm process. They have not actually named it directly. The enhanced N7P process, which boasts a 7%-ish performance improvement over N7, seems like the best fit after AMD clarified that their 7nm plus nomenclature does not mean a more sophisticated EUV-based N7 plus process, which claims a 10% improvement. So, dang. But can I go tinfoil hat here for a second? Can I go tinfoil hat? And like, I don't actually think this is necessary. I don't think this is true. There. I'm just gonna put it out there as something that I don't think is true, but it is just extremely fishy. Even reviewers don't use Ashes of the Singularity anymore.
Yeah.
Could this be an AMD cherry-picked scenario that they accidentally leaked?
Yeah, I would give that a pretty high chance of being a thing.
Like, Ashes of the Singularity is such a non-factor, even for most reviewers at this point. I have still seen it in presentations from manufacturers where it seems like they don't read the same, news that we do out in the media, or maybe they're just not paying as close attention, or maybe it's like a licensing thing. Like, they have a harder time licensing games for use for like official presentations. I know that can be a thing. Like, I remember there was an Intel laptop running XE graphics a little while back at like some trade show. I think it was like very early XE graphics at the last CES, and I was like, hey, I don't want to play Counter-Strike. I want to play like, at the time, what was cool at the time, Fortnite or whatever. Like, I want to play this, and they're like,
sure.
I don't remember who it was, so I'm not accusing anyone in particular. It was some popular battle royale game, and they were like, yeah, we tried, we know, but they wouldn't allow us to do it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That's basically marketing for their product. That's you, Intel, the gigantic, multinational, multi-billion-dollar organization, acknowledging their game as like the hotness right now. Why would you expect to be paid for that? Are you insane? So it could just be that Ashes of the Singularity is a popular one for companies to use because it's like, it has a very wide range of technology support. DirectX 12, SLI, things that real games, for whatever reason, can't implement, but this one can. And I guess they're real cooperative about using it. So that's my guess, is whether accidentally or on purpose. I think this came straight from AMD. There. You know what? No, I do think it. I don't think it happened on purpose. I think it was probably an accident because they were probably using it internally to create the decks for the presentation for the launch of Zen 3.
I'm on board with your previous opinion to a certain degree, because we've seen this a lot over the last few years. Like these totally not intentional leaks that come from companies. Like it's been happening a ton. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was an intentional.
It's also really hard to keep things under wraps. Like, I mean, you saw the whole thing with what was it? I think it was Tesla that had like a literal spy, like try to steal data from their company. Like this is the thing, when you have something like a new iPhone the week before it launched. Like, I would not be surprised if you could get tens of thousands of dollars for it from some publication that wants to break the news of what the new iPhone looks like early, or whatever the case may be.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I think we got to the bottom of the Ashes of Singularity thing. I can't find like actual proof of this, but it seems like it was included in a Humble Bundle, and then everyone immediately quit playing.
Oh. Ouch.
Sad. At least they started playing it, which for humble bundles is probably a pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Quick LTDstore.com mention. Not going to talk a ton about it today. We're not launching anything, but those crew neck sweaters that we announced on the last WAN show, there are less than 100 left, and restock is going to take a few months. So if you want a nice snuggly sweater to wear for the winter, then make sure you place an order now. Heads up to those that were able to get a foil keyboard shirt, by the way. They are shipping out next week. Also, LTD Store is hiring. Just go to linusmediagroup.com for information. Hiring like 6 people or something stupid like that. All right, another big news. Google drops the new Pixel 5, Pixel 4a 5G Chromecast with Google TV and Nest Audio. It's Techtober. It's a pun. So let's talk about, really for me, what is the big news on the Pixel 5. The fact that it is sporting a Snapdragon 765G. This is an SoC that launched in, hold on a second. Let me just have a quick look at the launch date of this particular processor. OnePlus Nord unveiled on July 21st. No, come on. When did it come out? Release date, full story. Whatever. It's not new. It's not particularly new, and more importantly, while it does have new features, if I recall correctly, it has built-in 5G support compared to what manufacturers have had to do, like bolting 5G support onto the Snapdragon 865 chipset, like the flagship chipset. So I believe it has 5G support, but in terms of performance, it is actually a downgrade, not just from flagship SoCs today, but actually from the previous Pixel. Like, what? So Luke, tell me this.
Yes.
Would you buy a brand new Pixel that is slower than your old Pixel?
Yes.
What? Why?
I didn't think you were gonna expect that answer.
Is that the only reason you said that? Because
no, I don't need speed in my phone anymore.
But why have it slower?
If there's other benefits, I'm not sure. But if there are other benefits to it, like if somehow, I don't think this is true, but if somehow it's better for battery life, if somehow it does these other things, sure, because I absolutely do not need performance in my phone anymore. I'm still running a Pixel 2 XL, and the only reason why I'm hungry for an upgrade is, one, I can't solve notification problems. I've received all your emails, I've received the tweets, none of it's working. I actually have my SIM in my Pixel 1, and the notifications are fine, so I'm actually using a Pixel 1 more often than anything else, which is great. My other problem with my Pixel 2 is the proximity sensor is bust.
Got it.
So if I answer a call, I can't dial.
Got it.
It always thinks that it's up next to my face. So that I want a new phone because of that. If those two problems didn't exist, I literally wouldn't want a new phone. There's no point. It wouldn't be worth, even if it was free, it wouldn't be worth the hassle of migrating over to a new phone.
Okay, that's a fair point.
So if there is some form of benefit, then sure, because I genuinely do not care about increased performance at all. I don't play games. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I don't need more performance to do emails. I don't need more performance to call people or send text messages or read Twitter. I don't need more performance to watch a YouTube video. I don't need more performance to use FlowClaim. I'm completely fine for what I do.
That's fair.
But if there isn't some other type of advantage for the decreased performance, then yeah, sure, if I'm paying for it, I might as well pay.
Okay, so in terms of other features, 90 Hz refresh rate is still 90 Hz refresh rate. Compared to the Pixel 4, Face Unlock has been ditched, so Apple's still holding on to it, but looks like the rest of the industry is like, yeah, fingerprint readers were pretty good. I actually really like the fingerprint reader on the Fold, so it's just built into the button, like Sony used to do with the Xperia, and I don't know, might still do. I haven't used an Xperia in a while. Way back in the day, it's pretty good. It's got 8 gigs of RAM instead of 6 gigs. Reverse wireless charging now, so you can charge your other stuff off your phone if you have a need to do that, and IP68 ingress protection. Here's the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit though is like it's priced at $700, which I guess is pretty reasonable for a flagship, except that it's sort of not really
Not a flagship.
not really a flagship. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, if phone manufacturers themselves, and Google's not the only one, like LG did the same thing with the Velvet. If phone manufacturers are starting to say, okay, yeah, the performance of these things is like good enough, then what I want to know is, fine then, where is the commitment to support this thing in the long term? Like, 3 years is okay, but Apple is way ahead, and I understand that Apple gets a huge advantage in that they get massive revenue through the App Store to subsidize their iPhone business, should they see fit. But Google could easily do the same thing with their Play Store revenue, and I'm going to propose something really crazy right now that is probably going to be pretty unpopular. What if you could just pay a monthly fee for ongoing operating system support? Is that something that would help rather than hinder the industry? Like, I think fragmentation is an enormous problem because, you know, from the manufacturer side of things, every device is going to have its own little quirks, and you can collapse under the weight of it. You know,
The
having
internet hates it, by the way.
they hate it. They hate it.
I have not seen a single person in chat vote with you.
Right.
Every single person has been like, no.
Well, then, what's your solution?
Yeah.
What's your solution? To be clear, I'm not saying that it should be pay as you go from day one. There should be 3 years of committed software updates. But then what?
When you're moving into your fourth year,
Would you
be able to
rather
have an option.
right? Would you rather have it be garbage and e-waste and end up in a landfill somewhere? And to be clear, I'm aware that obviously they can recycle a lot of the materials, but recycling is not an efficient process. It's not. So would you rather it ultimately, a perfectly otherwise working device that's now no longer getting security updates, would you rather it poison the earth, or would you rather just keep using it if it cost you $3 a month? Because remember, we're not talking about like $3 a month compared to what you get for free now. You should still get what you get for free now. I'm just saying we need some kind of an option, because it's very clear from all the analysis that's been done over the years of how Apple has, you know, X percentage of the smartphone market in terms of revenue, but has Y percentage of the smartphone market in terms of actual profit. Like, it's been very clear for a long time that the business model of Android sort of handset makers is not great. Like, it's not sustainable if we want devices to last for a very long time. So we have to do something. And it's either you get ads all over your phone, which is clearly already happening, or you go the YouTube Premium route and you say, okay, yeah, I get that it used to be free, but like, I'm willing to pay for this to keep working the way that I liked it, now that we've determined that this model is not sustainable. So with that in mind, do you guys hate it slightly less?
Spoiler alert, I don't think so. I think they still hate it just as much. Just reading the like responses.
Well, I'd like it.
I think you are getting at least a somewhat. I'm not gonna. Twitch chat's gonna hate me now. I could have gone the easy route here, but I'm not. I think you're getting at least somewhat an emotional response.
Right.
Because like right now, the option that you're getting is nothing. You if you get 3 years out of your device, you're probably lucky at this point, and then you're just dropped. So an option,
Yeah.
would be good.
And like,
right?
to be clear, look, okay, we've got a super chat from Mark Lane, who apparently thinks it's worth spending $5 to send a text message on the internet, but doesn't think this is a good idea. Mark Lane goes, my Pixel XL works great, yet it's no longer supported. Why, Linus, why? Well, obviously you could still have the option to just not get security updates, but that's not a great choice either.
There's some yeah. What isn't it like Lineage OS or I don't remember what it is, but I think it's Lineage OS. You could do this, but like Most people aren't going to do that.
So another option is the legislative route. So so you go to your representatives and you say, look, it should be illegal for perfectly functioning hardware to have absolutely no path forward. And you go, yeah, I understand that while you're selling this device, obviously you can't provide the tools, or you don't want to provide the tools to allow Lineage OS to be installed on it or whatever. You want to make sure that you're managing the user experience, but
once it passed like its 2-year window or something.
Yeah, once it's past its window where you're not going to support it anymore, you must provide the tools. You must create this tool set so that someone else can carry on the work, so that at least popular devices could still get support from the community. So that's an option. But what are the freaking odds? What are the odds that's going to happen?
None. Basically.
Like, we can't even agree.
And it's true. Like,
we can't even agree net neutrality is a good idea, Luke.
Well, you and I can. Yeah. Pixel 1 is pretty good. It's got some big old bezels.
It's got big old bezels.
The screen is pretty gross.
Big bitty bezels.
There's some things that definitely feel out of date with the usability of it. Like I can send emails on there. Completely fine.
Nathan Green says, what about a one-time fee for the update? That's not how it works, though. Like, you gotta understand, developers at these companies don't get paid one time. So, in order to build a sustainable support ecosystem for these products, they have to know that there is predictable revenue coming. I mean, that's why the gaming industry moved towards first microtransactions, which is basically what you're proposing, by the way. I thought we all agreed those were evil. And then subscription services, which is pretty much what I'm proposing. I'm just skipping a step.
Both and the one-time purchase.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You buy the one-time purchase, you pay a subscription.
How about everything? Unless you're Microsoft.